I am back, and you are comfortably zoned with me, the Zigzag Man, in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco, in the northern part of what I consider to be the greatest state in the Union. Unequivocally. I've got two guests today, two returnees, old New York Mets. Well, they're not old, but they were former New York Mets. One is Duffy Dyer, and the other is Lenny Randle. My God,
hey.
Mets in one show and two Arizonaites. And you guys have a lot to talk about. I'm going to let Lenny handle the interview. He's the man of the day. Lenny Randle.
Hey, Duffy, gotta keep both our heads from getting in the door, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey,
first of all,
let me just, as an old Met fan, let me just say one thing. The reason that one of the myriad of reasons they won in 1969 was that when Jerry Grody was down, I consider Grody to be a terrific catcher. For whatever reason, a catcher can't play 162 games. When Jerry Grody was down, Duffy Dyer came in, and there it was no drop-off. An article was written for Sabre, baseball historians organization, and they broke it down statistically, and they broke it offensive statistics, defensive statistics. No drop-off, Duffy. Just wanted to let you know that.
Wow, that's nice to hear. Thank you for the kind words. Grody was, I think, the best defensive catcher in the National League.
Okay.
Johnny Bench will concur. Johnny Bench said if Grody came to Cincinnati that he'd be playing third base. Speaking of himself.
Wow.
So, but I hope to get you that article. I hope to find it and get it to you. It just broke things down, not only offensive statistics, and you were very underrated in that manner, but defensively, it's hard to quantify statistics defensively for a catcher. But they did the best they could, and it included things like pitchers' earned run averages, that sort of thing. So there you go. I didn't want to set you short. And Lenny, the only third baseman the Mets ever had, at least for, I don't know if Wright ever hit 300, but for a long time you hit 300 as a third baseman, and you were the first really, first one to do that as a Met. So
I gotta share this with Duffy. I gotta share this with Duffy and you, Ralph. Little do you know, Ralph, Duffy was like a mentor away in homeschool in New York while we were at Arizona State. We were copying everything he taught us during our recruiting days. See, he didn't know this because he was a recruiter like Reggie Jackson and Sal Bando and Chris Bando and Rick Monday and Slaughter and Gary Gentry. Now, those are the guys I got recruited by. And it was freaking me out because I thought I was going to get to play with Duffy, but he exited the building. He
went pro.
He went pro. So Bobby Winkle
from semi-pro.
Well, he was a mentor. But see, here's the thing about it, Ralph. A lot of people don't know. Catchers are like presidents. They're like Henry Kissinger. Their diplomacy and their moxie, and they're really managers on the field. Like the Sunbirds and the Yogis and the Joe Torres and the Mike Sosas and the Girardis. They're really running things, and people don't know it. The only thing that he didn't run was his house. I know his wife was the boss.
You got that right.
Well, while you're talking about catchers, real quick, because I'm the oldest of all of you guys. Maybe Duffy and I are about the same age, but let me tell you, Campanella right in there.
Oh,
Roy
wow.
Campanella.
Yeah.
When I'm a kid,
Campanella.
if Campanella was catching in 1951, when Branca threw that pitch, it wouldn't have been the same. He would have gotten Branca through. And I'm a Giant fan. I could say this. Campy was hurt. Rube Walker was in there that day, and so just catches are very important.
I got to share this with you, Duffy. Greg Swan and I at Arizona State had Rube Walker when we came to the Mets as a coach with Joe Torre. Now, Rube Walker, I don't know about your fingers, Duffy, but his fingers are like stubs of an oak tree.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Yeah.
Now, are your fingers ruined as well? Duffy, I think I can get you workman's comp.
I was lucky. My fingers are still fairly straight.
The amazing thing about it,
Duffy, what do you miss the most about your playing days?
The competition, and I miss the guys also, but I just love putting the uniform on and competing. It was exciting, especially playing in New York with all the fans, but I just love competing, and that's why I still manage in the college league, but I just love the competition.
Okay.
Ralph, you don't know this, but he's in Wisconsin now as a manager up in Wisconsin with all the Brett Favre cheeseheads and the Milwaukee Brewer cheeseheads. And he's doing a great job up there right now. And most guys, now Duffy is the new 39. Okay, he's only 39 years old.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Lenny, speaking of ageless, what do you miss about your playing days? Not the rest of your life has gone beautifully. You're right in line. You're quote, the most interesting man in baseball.
Let me put it to you like this. Duffy and I do fantasy camps with the Mets periodically. I do fantasy camps 24/7. Okay.
Right.
You do.
When we go out there to see the guys that are 31 to 81 years old, we take it like it's a World Series, but modified. They take it like it's the Last Supper. We have a lot of fun with them. We hope they don't pull muscles, Ralph. We try to tell them, look, on the first hit, only go 3/4 to half speed because you're not in shape. We've seen guys blow out tires on the first day in the fantasy camp.
Hey,
full of hands, full of groin,
I don't
full
know
of
if
head
you guys
muscles.
ever heard the Peter Golenbach story about Jimmy Pearsall, who is managing in a fantasy camp. He was one of the coaches, right? And a woman, it was a mixed group of humans. They hit a ground ball to this woman, and she misses it. And Pearsall jumps out of the dugout. He's a 62-year-old man by this time. He jumps out of the dugout. He screams. He gets in the woman's face with the worst profanities that you can imagine. This is 30 years after he stopped playing ball. Screamed at this woman. They had to take him away and put him on an airplane. This was a while back, but so you guys, there are some of yous that take it seriously. That are you amongst them, or is it just fun for you guys?
Well, it's fun for me, but let me tell you something. Duffy got almost thrown out of the game in Port St. Lucie. You think a hurricane, he got so many. Okay, you remember Dick Tracy, the cop?
Yes, of course.
Well, he turned into Dick Tracy, the cop. He wasn't on the umpire. He was on the players. He was on anybody that got in his way. And I'm his coach. I'm going, Duff, it's a fantasy camp. Calm down. It's okay.
It's hard to break old habits. You got your uniform on, you're susceptible.
So we call Johnny Cochran and Bobby Shapiro and Judge Judy got him off the field. we got a $5,000 AAA card.
You can't forget Judge Wapner, who had some papers for him to sign in the back of the courtroom.
We do a fantasy camp. We try to go there to win. I do champagne before we even show up. I'll figure we're going to win it.
Well, a touch of Doc Ellis. You could be a little inebriated and still have success.
No, I'm talking about not drink it. No. We don't drink the champagne. We know we're going to win. We save it for the final 7 days.
Oh, you modified that. I thought you said you had champagne before you.
No. We get it set up in the locker. We don't.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I got you. And that's your story, and you're sticking. And that's your story, and you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to that story. Now, Duffy might have another version.
No, I'll stick to your story. It sounds good.
Hey, Duffy, who's coming up with Milwaukee that we should be looking at in the next few years?
I have no idea. I'm not really that into the Mets right now, and
no, with Milwaukee,
I don't follow pro ball. Oh, with Milwaukee? Well, again, I'm not following pro ball that much. I'm managing in
Lenny, didn't you
college
say
league.
Duffy's still coaching with Milwaukee?
No. I manage in a college league, a summer league in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
I got
just
you.
outside of Milwaukee.
This is a wooden bat league, I assume.
I'm a cheesehead now. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. And
now.
Duffy, tell us about that. This is a wooden bat league. Am I correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the Northwoods League. It's a summer collegiate league, and it's got 20 teams. It's a huge league, 2 divisions, Northern Division and Southern Division. And it's a very good league, a lot of college talent. And it's really fun working with the college kids. And it's a league, I think it's the only one, a college league that plays 72 games in about 78 days. So it's like playing minor league baseball. A lot of travel.
Absolutely.
They play every day, and none of these kids have gone through that before. So I try to warn them opening day that you better take care of yourself, guys, because this is going to be a tough grind for you for 2.5 months. And so it's completely different for the kids. They've never played ball every day like this. In college, they're playing usually on the weekends and maybe 4 games a week. But it's a tough grind for them.
Duffy, what's changed the most since you played and today in the game of baseball? And I don't mean the obvious age.
Well, the home runs change more. The fundamentals have changed. They don't bunt as much anymore. I don't think fundamentally that most players are as fundamentally sound. They don't bunt as much. I think. I know when I played, most of the hitters tried not to strike out. Striking out was really a no-no for most hitters, except for a few of the big bombers. But it seems to me like now most hitters don't care if they strike out or ground out or get the man over. So striking out's not a big deal anymore. So that's why there's so many more home runs. It seems like, everybody wants to, even the small guys want to hit at least 20, 25 home runs. And, I think the home run has changed the game a lot. It seems like a lot of pitchers are throwing harder nowadays, although I think the radar guns are pumped up a little bit. But, there's just not as much bunting. There's a lot more home runs. So offensively, the game has changed a lot.
Okay. I might have asked you this when you were a guest on these airwaves about a year ago, but it's a question worth repeating, given the fact that I'm a fanatical Met fan and followed them and their minor leagues all, from their very inception. Who was your mentor as a minor league coach that helped you advance as quickly as you did through the system?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the guy that really helped me the most was Whitey Herzog. He helped me mentally more than anybody, because when I first signed and went straight to Double-A, I was over my head. I should have gone to A-ball, and so I was really down in the dumps. And Whitey called me in the off season and said, "You're going to the instructional league, and keep your head up." And he told me, he says, "You're going to be in the big leagues in 3 years." And I thought he was crazy the way I had played my first half season. And he gave me the confidence in that. So mentally, it was Whitey Herzog. And after my second year, I caught where I was catching in AAA. I had an older gentleman named Clyde McCullough, who was a heck of a catcher many years before. He was pretty old at that time. And
right.
So when I was playing AAA in Jacksonville, Florida, Clyde really helped me a lot defensively. And I certainly improved behind the plate. And
Duffy, I had Whitey Herzog as my manager with Texas Rangers, and I'm with three players: Brandon, Diesel, and Hernandez. And they're baseball players who want, two of them are catchers, and one of them's a pitcher, shortstop, kind of like Ripken. What advice would you give to them? Because I think catching is the quickest way to get a college scholarship or to go to the big leagues. What advice, as a catcher, Hall of Fame guy, been through Arizona State, been to the pros, won a World Series, caught Nolan Ryan, caught some of the best pitchers in the history of baseball. What would you advise them?
Well, if you're a catcher, a young catcher, work on the fundamentals. Work on calling a game. A lot of catchers never work on that very much as far as trying to learn your pitching staff, learn how to work with pitchers. You have to sort of be a psychologist too, or psychiatrist, because you have to work with each pitcher separately and know how to handle each guy individually. Some of them you have to sort of kick in the butt and get on pretty heavily, and others you got to sort of pamper to get the most out of them. So you have to be sort of a psychologist and handle each one differently and know their strengths and weaknesses as far as calling a ball game and how to handle them. And again, most young catchers, it takes quite a while to learn how to do that. But
this is
learning how to
Brandon.
block a ball in the dirt and learning how to get rid of the ball quicker, even if you have a strong arm, the quicker you can have a quicker release. Work on your footwork. Most catchers don't work on and realize how important in throwing that your feet are and your legs. So work on your footwork and throwing, and that's very important. So those are some of the fundamentals I would really concentrate on.
Okay, Brandon has a question for you, and so does Diesel. Now, with a name like go ahead. Diesel's a pitcher at San Diego, and Brandon's a travel ball catcher. Could be the next Ripken/catcher-pitcher.
Not a catcher.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Question.
I just had a question. Like, is there stuff that you would work on, like at home, or like you had nowhere to go, like parks and stuff like that, like just to like get better?
Yeah, there's a lot of drills you can do. As far as a catcher, I think you need one fundamentally you need to work on is framing the ball and working on soft hands, catching the ball with soft hands, and learning to receive the ball and not catching everything in the web of your glove, because you need to get the ball out of your glove with a good grip. So if you can catch the ball more, not in the center of your glove, but up a little bit, but not catching everything. A lot of catchers catch everything deep in their glove in the web, and it's harder to get the ball out. So I would just, every time I'm playing catch with someone, I would work on receiving the ball with soft hands. A lot of catchers they think, all I have to do is catch the ball, but there's a lot more to it. If you want to have a quicker release and work on getting the ball out of your glove properly with a good grip, work on catching the ball with soft hands And again, work on footwork, and that's something you can do by yourself without necessarily throwing the ball, but work on getting down in the crouch and work on footwork. That's very important, and your arm angle, getting your arm up and throwing, try to learn to throw the ball with a four-seam grip if you don't already do that. Learn to get the ball with a four-seam grip, because then you got four seams rotating, your ball will go straighter and it will carry more, because in throwing, your accuracy is just as important as how hard you throw the ball. And if you don't have any accuracy, it's like a pitcher that's very wild. You can throw 100 miles an hour, but if you can't throw strikes, it doesn't make much difference. So in throwing, always have a target. Every time you're playing catch or whatever, always have a target to throw to, and always work on your accuracy. So, but if you can get somebody to work with you at home, have them bounce balls to you and work on blocking the ball.
I got a pitcher with me named Diesel. He's about 12-teen. I'd say 12-teen because he could be the next Tom Seaver. He's throwing travel ball. Diesel has some questions for you. He's a pitcher.
Okay.
What are the pitchers' mentalities when they step on the mound?
Should be being aggressive, going after hitters, and throwing strikes. Again, I think the most important thing for a pitcher, no matter what kind of stuff you have, whether you're a power pitcher or a finesse pitcher, is throwing a ball where you want to, being able to throw the ball in the strike zone. And if you're a power pitcher, it's still important, like a Seaver or a Gibson or a Kershaw, whoever, they still got to be able to hit spots where they want, because as you get older, the hitters are going to continue to get better, and even if you throw hard, you still have to hit your spots. So I would work on being aggressive, but not overthrowing to the point where you can't throw strikes. I think all young pitchers should learn, first of all, to throw low strikes, trying to hit the strike zone and trying to keep the ball down. And once you can do that, then you can work on other things such as moving the ball around, in and out. But first thing I think young pitchers have to do is to be able to consistently throw low strikes, pitch ahead of the hitter, because if you're not aggressive enough to pitch ahead, it's if you're pitching behind the hitter a lot in the count, if it's always 2 balls, 1 strike, or 3-1, that really gives the hitter advantage. So I think young pitchers need to pitch ahead in the count and always have the mindset of, I'm going after the hitter. They're not trying to strike everybody out, but throwing strikes and putting the ball in play and pitching ahead.
This is the Diesel again. He's a Dodger fan. If you have a Dodger question for you, go ahead.
What did you do to make Clayton Kershaw better?
What would I do? I just continue to give him the ball every 5th day. That's what I would do. I just give him the ball every 5th day and say, here you go, buddy. It's your day to pitch.
What can you do to make him better, though? It's like he's not the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, I leave him alone and say, here, it's your day to pitch. Go get him. No, he's a great pitcher, probably the best in the game today. And I would, not many things I would do to work with him. He just, he's not only got great stuff, but he knows how to pitch. And he's a smart pitcher. He can change speeds, and he's got great control. So there's not much you can do. Fundamentally, he's very sound. There's a lot of pitchers in the big leagues that have great stuff, but they aren't really very smart and don't know really the art of pitching. They just got a great arm. But I think Kershaw's got it all. When I was catching many years ago, I felt like that was an advantage Seaver had. Seaver was the smartest pitcher I ever caught. I mean, he not only had great stuff, but he knew himself. He knew when he had his good stuff and when he didn't, and he could adapt to certain hitters, or on days when he didn't have his good stuff, he could make changes and he was just very smart. He knew the art of pitching, and I think Kershaw's in that way too. He's just a very intelligent pitcher. Not only does he have great stuff, but he's way ahead of the game. So I would leave him alone and give him the ball every fifth day.
Okay, Brandon has a question for you because we're going to invite you out to our camp out here in Temecula, California, Marietta. This is Brandon, shortstop pitcher and wide receiver football player / quarterback. Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
So in your opinion, for hitting in the MLB, what's harder, hitting off a left-hander or a right-hander?
Well, I think it's proven that. Are you a right or left-handed hitter?
I'm a right-handed hitter.
I'm going to teach him to switch hit, Jeff. I'm going to teach him to switch hit. Go ahead.
Well, then that's a huge advantage. If you can learn to switch hit, that is a huge advantage. I think you're probably, if you don't switch hit, you're probably, as you get older, going to have more success against left-handed pitching because the breaking ball is going to break in toward you, and it's easier to hit that than it is a right-handed breaking ball breaking away from you. So in most cases, there are exceptions, but I think right-handed hitters are usually going to have more success against left-handers, and left-handed hitters are usually going to have more success against right-handed pitchers, again, because the off-speed pitches and breaking balls are going to be breaking in toward you. And it's a little easier to see the ball also out of the hand. If it's a left-handed pitcher throwing to a right-hander, the angle is much better on the release point from the pitcher. If I'm hitting right-handed against a left-handed pitcher, the angle that the ball's coming from is much easier to see than if I'm a right-handed hitter hitting against a right-hander. It's not near as easy to see the ball out of the hand.
What we're going to do is when we fly you out here and Kirk Babakwa to Marietta, Pachanga, I know you like Pachanga because you like the wine. I'll just leave that alone. We're going to have Ralph. We got to video this, Ralph, so you can have it on your network so you can see them training, switch hitting live, and Duffy teaching. That'll be within the next 3 weeks.
Let me just take a minute while I have you, Lenny, because you're elusive sometimes, as this morning will attest.
Isn't that the truth?
Huh?
Isn't that the truth?
Let me ask you a question. There's a misconception. I've read so many quotes by you crediting Ted Williams for being a great teacher and a great manager, really. And that's not the overall picture that baseball fans get of Ted Williams. Correct that for us, Lenny. Tell us just how communicative he was with you and what a good teacher he was for you.
Well, what I'm going to do, Ralph, I'm going to send your audience as well as Duffy and everybody listening, all 55 million people of you. Talking with Ted was like talking to E.F. Hutton, the Pope, and Billy Martin at the same time, and Herzog. The combination of all the talents that I met, from Willie Mays to Joe DiMaggio, Ted was an ingredient of everybody. That war hero was a team guy. He would pick the brain of Babe Ruth. He picked the brain of Mickey Mantle. He would pick their brains to know how their pitchers would pitch prior to the game. Listen, we had a guy that thought Ted was crazy named Jimmy Pearsall. And Jimmy Pearsall, who's our coach, said Ted was a little aloof because he was different. He was a fisherman. He was a war hero, maybe a little brain damage. And we go, but he used to bone his bats. And we go, well, why did he bone his bats? He actually took a dog bone or, I don't know, a deer bone or a bear bone, wherever he got the bone from, and he would make the bone slide up and down his bat. W166, I have the model and the bones. Point being, it made the ball jump off the bat, like a golf ball would jump off a golf club. He was a scientist of hitting. He was a scientist of getting in the side of the head. We had Denny McClain. He got inside Denny McClain's head and made a believer out of us because he took batting practice with his jacket off and told us, with his jacket on, and told Elliot Mansfield to left. He told Toby Harris to go to right. He told Jim Mason to go to center. And I'm going to hit Denny McClain with my edit. I can't say what the word is. I'll hit him with my edit. I can't say what the word is. And he told us he would hit him like playing billiards, like a cue ball, a cue stick on a pool table. Because Denny would telegraph his pitch it. He says, I can make you a 31-game winner. I can make you a 41-game winner if you listen to me. He was a scientist studying pitchers, and he was a scientist studying hitters. So his knowledge was beyond baseball. He was a genius for hitting. And then his people skills, because he wished that the veterans would listen to him. His moxie came from the youth. His enthusiasm came from the youth when Toby and Mark Hargrove and Summerg and the new guy, Jeff Burrows, when we came up, and Joe Levito, we gave him spirit. He was ready to quit baseball. So without us coming in with speed and running, because he loved Jackie Robinson, he loved the guys that could steal and do base stealing and bunting and hitting like Nellie Fox and Louis Aparicio. He said, that's exciting baseball. Those guys will get on the pond, and I'll hit them off and like a duck. I'll hit them in because he just likes driving in runs. He says, I'm the guy that can beat the shift. I'm the guy that's going to get Frank Howard to butt. Now, Frank Howard is 6'8", 330 pounds. The whole infield's on the left side. He told Frank that the third baseman's out in left field. The shortstop in left center. He bunted. Then Frank stole second and stole third. Now, here's a guy who was a former Dodger, because the Dodgers used to always run. He told Frank, you got the green light. Most guys wouldn't let a guy like that run. So he thought outside the box of baseball. He was a genius.
Right. Where does the bad reputation come in for his ability?
The bad reputation becomes this kind of simple, and Duffy can attest to this. You might have 10 writers in New York, or 5 writers in Pittsburgh, or 7 writers in Chicago, and you may like one of them because they ask you a stupid question, like, why was your wife sitting next to Roberto Clemente? Does that mean he's dating her? Why does your daughter, just stupid questions that have nothing to do with baseball. Once those writers start asking asinine questions, Duffy will tell you, they always go to the catchers. Stearns used to tell me, and Grody used to tell me, and Carter would tell me all the weird questions that writers ask that have nothing to do with baseball. You don't want to talk to them. So if you don't talk to them and you go, hey, jerk, get out of here. Billy Martin used to say, don't come in my office. Don't even bother to come in my office because you don't want to talk about baseball. Henry Heck. I can name 50 writers out of the blue. And because of Ted's going, look, I'm a friend of Richard Nixon. I'm a war hero. I don't want to use my credibility in what I'm doing. All I'm trying to do is have some youngsters win. And you're getting on my baseball knowledge and skills of why I took Denny out in the 5th inning. Well, I took him out in the 5th inning because he partied all night. You want to know the truth? He was out till 3 in the morning with Congressman Dillums. You want to know the truth? Or do you want me to bury my players under the bus, or do you want me to protect them? So Billy would, there's certain guys that would protect their players. Billy would do that. Ted Williams would do that. Joe Torre would do that. And Duffy's like that. Duffy knows when a guy is tired and don't have a lot, in the tank that day.
Right.
We know personnel. We know if a guy's got energy.
Can't you see it? Can't you see it in their eyes, in their demeanor, in their shoulders? I mean, their body language. I'm sure that comes into it.
Yeah, body language. Listen, we used to watch, and Duffy can tell you this. Bobby Winkles was a genius. He would watch us coming on the field at Arizona State. This is like a lot of coaches do this to managers. They could tell if we were out too late by the way we walked on the field. Frank Kush could read us if we were too tired to play football. If we came on the field peppy in the step, with a little pep in the step, or we were dragging, because he had us running to go get water. He had us running to go to the bathroom. A lot of coaches don't believe in a lot of running. If we struck out, we didn't argue with the umpire. We ran back to the dugout.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
We ran faster than O.J. and Carl Lewis. But they were in control.
Duffy, maybe you can tell. Was it Charlie Finley who brought Winkles into the pro
Yeah,
game?
the radio show. We're doing.
I think he went to the Angels first, didn't he?
Oh, okay.
I thought Bobby went. I think Coach Winkles went to the Angels first, if I'm not mistaken, and then he went to Oakland after that.
Go ahead, Duff.
Duffy, I produce an Oakland sports show on this network as well, and one of the co-hosts is Nancy Finley, who's Charlie Finley's niece, and you were a coach out here for a while. I don't think it was under Charlie. I think it was after the Haas's bought.
No, it was after Charlie.
It was after Charlie.
Yeah,
Huh?
it was after Charlie. I coached there for
Okay, can you tell me some of your experiences in Oakland, and maybe did you enjoy it? Were the times good times for Duffy Dyer?
Yeah, my wife and I loved it there. We went to a place in Alameda. We loved being in the Oakland area. We had other teams at the end of the time. It was right. We weren't very good those 3 years. As far as the ball club goes, we were sort of rebuilding.
Duffy, where'd you live in Alameda? Because I'm here now.
I live in the high-rise. The street's named, but it was a high-rise right on the cafe there. Very nice place. We really enjoyed it. I can't say how to get there anymore, but it was a real nice place. We lived on the 5th floor. Had a beautiful view.
Nice.
But, yeah, I certainly enjoyed the 3 years there. Was there, and this has been a great time, even though the clubs weren't very good. But certainly enjoyed working with a bunch of young players that we were trying to get better with, and I loved the ballpark. I liked Oakland Alameda Coliseum. I thought it was a good place to play, but unfortunately we weren't getting a whole lot of support, and because the clubs weren't very good, but we certainly enjoyed our 3 years there.
Duffy, were you there with Reggie Bando and Joe Rudy and Billy North?
No.
No, I was there after.
I was still with the Mets. They beat us in the World Series in '73.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was a young kid then. Yeah, they beat us.
Well,
I was still with the Mets in '73, and they beat us in 7 games.
7 games,
yes,
yeah.
and I sat in the right field stands in the 6th game of that series, and I watched Jack Benny throw out the opening pitch. I don't know if you remember that. Charlie Finley brought Jack Benny in.
I remember John C. Scott there as well.
What was that?
Hey, guys, this has been terrific. I hope you'll both come back individually and together. A thrill for me to have you both. And
what we're going to do, Ralph, we're going to do a live camp, and you're going to see it on your show. We're going to do a live camp on video, so you'll be live, and people will be able to see it around the world, what we're teaching these kids. Duffy and I will be all over the place soon.
That would be terrific. Thank you both, and thank you out there for listening. I want to tell you to keep on keeping on. We will be back next week, and see you guys. Thanks again. Stay healthy.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
Thing.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Duff. Thanks, Lenny. Adios.
Ciao, gracias. Adios.
Ciao, gracias, and sei gesund. Don't forget that, Lenny. You got to go sei gesund.
I got it. Gagazin.
Adios. Hey, I'm a teacher too, right?
Right.
Yeah, by the way, to my Yiddish friends out there, this is New Year's, so happy Rosh Hashanah, Happy New Year. I hope it's a healthy one, and good luck to my fellow humans in Puerto Rico as we speak. They're being bombed by yet another hurricane. Mother Nature does not like us very much of late. Bad vibes we got going. Talk soon, everybody.
We'll pray for them.
Yes, we will. will send out good wishes, because my praying is, I like to think sometimes it's almost counterproductive, my praying. So better not. Better leave everything as it is. But it works for a lot of guys, and let's hope for the best. And be well, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.